Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it again on a Thursday. Hold on. I feel like... Oh, shit. Wrong way. There we go. That's a little better, I think. The other way seemed very bright. Very, very bright. Actually, now that feels weird. I've been noticing... that should be fine. Yeah. AI told me getting Islam versus Colby at the White House for the... Damn, Johnny just coming out swinging. Oh man, what's going on, guys? I wanted to try something new today, so as you could tell from the title and the thumbnail, I'm gonna give something a little try here. Hey, appreciate you. All is good. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back as usual. And being in the chat, you guys make this more fun for me, so I appreciate you. Yeah, so I want to try something new. And, you know, we got this downtime, and I'm just thinking, hey, why not, you know, just try some things out here? Because I could implement this even in a small way to the podcast, depending on how it goes. I still have some bugs to work out, because I actually tested a little bit of this. I've tested it a few times leading up to this, but it seems like, of course, as soon as I want to actually do it, it's not working the same way it was working before. And I don't know if maybe that's a sign that I should get the paid version or not. I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking about it. Just because I feel like I'm gonna make use of it, but I can pay for it for a month and see how it goes. But I figure we'll see how it acts right now. Anyway, what I'm talking about is using AI as a co-host of sorts. A co-host slash fact checker of sorts. But I will say this, throughout some of my testing, I've actually had to correct the AI, which is obviously very strange, because you would think, hey, why does anybody use AI anyway? Why would anybody like even want to use what I'm using? And usually it's because it makes things a little bit easier, a little bit faster. You get a quick response. It's an aggregation of a lot of information all at once, and you don't have to go searching for all of it. And then usually you would think it's something to trust, but I've seen a few bugs here and there, and I feel like, I don't know if it has to do with live AI can be. Yeah, I know, Infinity. That's why. That's why I'm prefacing this with it's a test. It's 100% a test, and I say co-host in the loosest like usage of that, because obviously a co-host would be somebody that would be here with me throughout the entire show. Not just what's up Tua, not just, dropping in for a segment of sorts. But I feel like that's kind of how you start somebody anyway. If you're not 100% sure, committed to doing that, is you kind of drop them in here and there. And like I said, I think this is just a way for me to test things out. When you do boxing, I could definitely contribute more. Yeah, no, it's really just to test it out and see how it would work. It's something different to do. I mean, I didn't look too deep into whether or not anybody else has like kind of done anything in the way I'm about to do this, but it's also very, very buggy, I guess you could say. I had it working, or so I thought I had it working in a way. Have you seen Terrence Howard's take on the multiplication? Yes, I have.
What's happening with you, man?
And that's about how I reacted to it, because I couldn't figure out what he was saying. But yeah, fuck. I don't know. It sucks, because it felt, when you test things out, especially when you're doing this, you kind of try to do a trial run. And I actually did. I went live privately, and I played around with it. I even talked some shit to it, honestly. China got the best though. It was Terrence Howard, Tua. How do you not know?
What's happening with you, man?
I'm just kidding. I had it for the last show too. I thought it was funny because we kept throwing around Maine all over the place. So I had to get a drop for it. And I want to update a bunch of other buttons here. Hey, look at all is good reminded me already. But yeah, when I was testing it out, everything seemed to work. At least good enough for where I felt okay doing this. And then I started testing it again and it doesn't want to work the same. And I'm following all the same like kind of instructions and things that I had, the notes that I had, and it's fine because I'm just gonna have to go a little more manual with it. Meaning like I'm gonna have to click some things when I shouldn't have to click it. It's kind of what I've been doing with the show lately. I usually automate everything using my Stream Deck, and I haven't been doing that because I haven't had as many visuals. But it's been okay because I'm sitting here, I have everything here at my fingertips, but I don't want to have to consistently be looking down and clicking and doing this, that, and the other thing, which is why normally I'm just like Stream Deck, push button, bam, 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 multi actions. I can push one button and do like 6 things or more. They have drastically different response. Oh yeah, I noticed that for sure. I'm using ChatGPT because that's just the one I started using, and when it's free, there's a limit as well, and that's what kind of makes it rough. So I was trying not to go too crazy with the pre-testing today for that reason alone. But honestly, Infinity, I don't even know. I think it is. I think it is. I guess I have it open right here. I could look. What the hell? I don't even know where the hell I would find that, because all the places I would think to look is not showing me. But whatever. It's somewhat free. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it would have only been $20 to get to pay for the month. You know what I mean? So I could have just done that, but I wanted to just kind of see where it would go. I've heard a couple things about how Higginsfield AI is what some ad agencies have been using to develop commercials. And I believe that because, well, I mean, hopefully you're not trolling too, because you like to troll a lot. And Adobe's Firefly. Okay, now I know you're not trolling. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, and I believe that because honestly, like I was able to kind of listen, I'm no professional here, so I don't give a fuck if anybody knows what the hell's going on behind the scenes, and Infinity knows half of what I do anyway. So I kind of got a breakdown. I was actually able to get a whole breakdown of like how I can run the entire, like a run sheet of how I can run the show. Now, I'm not going to follow that because if I start reading a sheet, I'm going to get very robotic. I've tried to do it before and I can't. I just can't do it, man. I got to flow. Like I just have to flow with things and that's it. So that's just kind of how it works for me, because then I start reading and then I pay too much attention to what I'm reading instead of what I'm supposed to be doing. So and letting it flow and talking. Copilot. Oh yeah. I tried a little bit of Gemini last night too, just trying some other stuff. I thought about a prompter and it's not natural for what we do. No, it's not. It's not. You can flow while sticking to an agenda. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking too, was using it as a reference sheet. You know what I mean? Looking back at it, it actually pause.
Hey, no Diddy, man. No Diddy.
Referencing back to the sheet and fuck. Yeah, bullet points exactly. And just referencing that way, and it kind of laid it out. It actually gave me prompts to what I can do with my Stream Deck as well. So that was interesting. I did try to do that, but it's not, again, it's not working like it was supposed to work, or like it was working previously. So that's what I'm kind of annoyed by. So I'm gonna give it a shot anyway, but other than that, I mean, there's not a ton of other stuff going on. You know, we've had a couple MMA news points here and there, but nothing crazy. Before I get too far, I want to remind everybody, since you're here, if you don't mind, please hitting that like button below. At least do that at the minimum. That would help me out a lot, and I'd appreciate that if you're here watching the show, or even if you drop in for a minute and you like what you hear, just hit that like button for me. I'd appreciate that. And then if you like everything even more, subscribe. I mean, it's free to subscribe. It ain't gonna hurt you. And I promise you, even if it's on your, you know, homepage of YouTube, it's gonna get pushed down if you ain't watching all the time. But I'd like it better if you subbed and watched. That would be great. But just like the video even. I just figured I'd try to make sure I mention some of that here and there. I don't like sitting here and focusing on telling everybody to subscribe and like the video and all that shit. But, you know, it's part of YouTube, and yeah, it helps me out anyway, just to get the video out there and, you know, get some likes going. So I'd appreciate it if you at least hit that like button while you're here. Other than that, I want to make sure I thank my sponsor, and I was actually going to roll without the fan, but I put it on the lowest setting because it's actually kind of chilly over here. It's been fucking pouring rain all day. Well, not all day, all evening since I got home. It was raining yesterday. It wasn't raining throughout the day today, sprinkling here and there, and now it's just pouring like crazy. So right before I got in here, it was nuts. And yeah, it's pretty damn cold for Arizona, that is, obviously, because it's not that cold here. But it's cold for us because we're used to the fucking heat, especially Infinity's used to even more heat. We got a freeze warning as well, Infinity, so yeah, it's crazy. But before I get too far, let me thank my sponsor, Noctane Smelling Salts, of course. What's the temperature? See, that's what's funny, because it ain't going to be very cold to most people. But as of right now, it says it's 46 degrees. So, yeah, Tua, I don't even know where you're from. I don't even know where you are. I assume it's cold at night. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty chilly. It hasn't been that bad, but with the rain lately, it seems like it brought all the cold weather in. So as of right now, my phone says it's 46, East Coast. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, you know, like, I'm sure it's colder over there. Especially, I know, like, in New York and shit, you know, it's got to be cold. DC, yeah, it's got to be colder over there. But, you know, the weather's been crazy all over the country this year, or over this past few months. So seems like things aren't as cold as usual. It's cold as shit. I was just in New York and it was snowing. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I was saying, like, I figured it'd be pretty cold. But if you want a quick wake me up, if it's too cold, Noctane Smelling Salt is the right way to do that. 50 on the patio, Infinity. Yeah, that makes sense. Noctane Smelling Salts. This is the most potent bottle. A couple other potencies. You can start off kind of light if you want. They have scents as well, different kinds of scents. I've tried a few different ones. Everything from peppercorn to peppermint to wintergreen type shit, lavender, all kinds of stuff. So Infinity says black is safer because that's what he has. The red is the most potent bottle. I usually stick to this one. Let me take a quick whiff for this. Last time I did it, it was pretty strong. I missed the last show because we got to yapping too quickly and for too long, and I didn't even do it. Here we go. Oh no, it got back to needing a double. Here we go. Oh, yep, there it is. Whew. Whew. Damn, it like lingers. Damn. That's good though, because this shit wakes me up, and I keep some blasted. I know I could go harder, but man, fuck. That small hit was enough, because this shit is potent. And then the one I have in my bag is even more potent. And right now I have 2 bottles of it. I carry one with me because when I'm driving around for work, which I've been doing a lot of lately, I haven't had to go out of town at least more than an hour and a half. But still, I've been driving around town, doing a bunch of things from one side of town to the other. And yeah, that helps keep me awake, especially on long drives when I'm out of town. So it's good stuff, man. It's not that expensive. And if you go scan that QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description below, and you can get yourself a bottle, check out the prices, check out what they say it's good for. get educated a little bit on it, and you can see all the products they have. And if you go all the way down to the bottom of the main page, it'll say proudly sponsoring Going Around's podcast, which is me. So check that out. It's good shit. And yeah, I appreciate the sponsorship, Noctane. Thank you. Other than that, the only other kind of news and stuff that was going on that I wanted to hit up real quick before we get into this AI stuff is let's see, what was it? Whoa, John Jones and Daniel Cormier are going to be filming a somewhat of a tough style reality show, but it's overseas. I don't even remember where the hell it is, but it's the same one that John Jones was doing before that Nate Diaz was on, and then Nate Diaz and his team got into a scuffle, and Diaz just said, fuck this, we out. And that was it. And then Jorge Masvidal came in, and then we heard nothing else about it after that, which was strange because there was no more craziness. But John Jones seems to like it over there, and they must be paying him big because he keeps going back. So, oh, that's my phone. I was like, what the hell is that glowing right there? But yeah, so Daniel Cormier is supposed to be like coaching against him, which they're not going to fight, obviously. Cormier's already said he's done fighting completely, and he hasn't even kept in shape, really, that we could tell. So him fighting Jones right now, when Jones just fought less than a year ago, regardless of where John Jones is at with everything, they're not going to fight. But you know, John was heard saying he was never really no, but he was definitely in a lot better shape when he was fighting in the champ. But John Jones was saying something like, "Hey, listen, they're gonna wrestle in RAF." I don't even think they're gonna do that. But I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. We're seeing a lot of RAF stuff going around. A lot of guys joining in RAF. I think the one that's happening next month here in Arizona, it's actually going to be Henry Cejudo versus Uriah Faber. I thought about going to it, but I'm not sure. It didn't. It seemed like you could get some decent prices on tickets, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure. And actually, let me see real quick, because I think there's actually an RAF happening this weekend. Yes, RAF 5. Covington versus Rockhold, which, you know, I didn't think to put any visuals in today because go with other wrestlers. It would be fun. I might go. We'll have to see. I forgot what the date was on it, but I know it's next month. But anyway, Colby Covington versus Luke Rockhold is the main event for RAF 5. And then Bo Nickel, I think it's up in your area, Infinity. I was actually going to say that, like, if I do go, if you're interested, we could go. But I might have to look into it again because I forgot what the date was. Also, we got Bo Nickel versus Yoel Romero. That should be interesting. RAF had submissions? I don't know, Infinity. I'm going to have to look at it again. And then we have Palmer versus Sarukian. That should be interesting as well. I almost said Arnold Palmer, but it's Lance Palmer. Which, by the way, the Combat Sports Today actually interviewed Lance Palmer not too long ago. So you can go back to their YouTube page and check out that interview. I believe Josh was the one that interviewed him. I wish I could have. Armin Palmer. I wish I could have done it, but the dates that were there, I wouldn't have been able to do it because of the dates and times that they were looking at trying to get it done. So I didn't even throw my name in there because I was like, I can't do those times or days. So I would have been at work. It was the only times available, I guess. So that sucks. It would have been nice to interview Palmer, but you know, it's all good. But yeah, he's he's wrestling Armin Sarukian February 28th. That's right. Okay. Which is down the street. Chances of Masvidal interview? Shit. I wish, man. That would be sick, but I don't control the interviews. Combat Sports Today does, and you know, they have their ties in different places. I know it's pretty difficult to get some of these bigger names if you're not super like well known, but CST is pretty well known throughout a bunch of different organizations. But it seems like the UFC is a little bit tougher, especially there's a lot more to go through to try to get the interviews. I'm not sure of all the ins and outs of how they do things. I am a part of, some group chats and shit like that. So I do pay a little bit of attention about, how they run things, but I don't know the entire ins and outs of everything. So, and they surprised me with some of the ties they have here and there. But it's cool because I just wait and see what they have available. They'll ask who wants to do an interview with so-and-so, and I try to throw my hat in there anytime I can. And then, it just depends on how my schedule is and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully I'll be getting some more interviews sometime soon. But for now, I have a few up on my page. You can go to Combat Sports Today and check out a few of those. AI horse crazy. And yeah, we'll see what else comes up in the near future. But yeah, so those are 3 pretty good matchups for this weekend, actually. January 10th and on Fox Nation, which I think you have to have a subscription for that. Found some floor tickets for around 124 and up. Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. I think if you go a little further back, I think they're about $60, which, I mean, 124 is not too bad. It's just a matter of, you want to, after fees and stuff like that, you're paying probably over 150. And I'm like, yeah, it's just a matter of, can I go? We'll see. I'll take a look and I'll check it out. 124 is real good. Yeah, I mean, for RAF, I mean, might be worth the slower knockers, the slobber knockers. Is that what you're trying to say? What was I going to say though? Yeah, I mean, especially like this card's pretty sick with just those three matchups. Nickel versus Romero, Palmer versus Sarukian, and Covington versus Rockhold. I fucking hate Colby Covington though. But he is an All-American wrestler, so yeah, he might be good at this because he doesn't have to. Ringside is 500 and change. God damn. Yeah, I'm not trying to do that.
Damn, son.
But 124 is not too bad. I mean, I don't even know the venue. I don't know the layout of the venue either, so I'd have to look at that to see, maybe the $60 tickets wouldn't be too bad. I mean, I'd just be chilling to go see it. But let's see. I don't know. Oh, Pat Downey is wrestling Buchanan. I'm not sure. He looks familiar. I don't remember his first name. But I think Downey just wrestled Romero in their last match. Never know long dollars. And that's it from what I'm seeing that I know of. But if you're big into wrestling, you might know some of these people. So anyway, yeah, we'll have to look into that one next month. But other than that, yeah, the Cormier and Jones thing is interesting just because, they've had their beef in the past. And when it comes down to it, like, I'm actually surprised that Cormier is even going to do it because he actually said in the past that he wouldn't want to be away from his family for that long. It's just too much time and whatever. But they must be paying him a bag because he decided to do it. I did see another interview. Stephen Buchanan wrestles for Iowa. Oh, okay. So then I saw an interview from John Jones, but I don't know if it was recent. It's one of those ones that comes across and it's like, I just watched a video saying we'll see how it's going to turn out for them. And Jones was saying, hey, maybe we can establish some kind of a friendship and stuff like that, coming out of this. But then I see one about him talking shit saying that, yeah, it could have been AI. Honestly, I didn't look too deep into it because it was just a video I saw in passing. And this event has top dogs in the wrestling world. Oh, shit. See, that's the thing. I don't even know. Bones and DC being friends is dope. Yeah, that would be sick. I mean, especially because of how bad their beef was back in the day, how much they fucking hated each other. I think just them being civil is a step in the right direction. We saw that video where John was doing the call-in with John Anik for the fighter meeting or whatever, and he asked if DC was there, And you know, Anik was like, yeah, DC's right here, and he talked to DC, and they were good, they were cool, they were cordial, it was nice. Business partners, man. But
What's happening with you, man?
so yeah, I mean, they were cordial with that. I mean, I think you know, deep down, I think John Jones wants to be the dude's friend, but Cormier sees right through his shit, so he calls him out. And Cormier can kind of be a bit of a pain in the ass. If you saw any of the Ultimate Fighter this past season, with him and Chael, it was almost too. Thanks, Tua. I definitely want to update more so I can get some more of those really good ones in there because you know. Some of these are a little bit old. They're classics for me and Infinity, using them in the podcast we used to be on, but some of them aren't useful that much for this stream, so I'm gonna definitely get some more. But yeah, Jones, I don't know. I just don't see them coming out as friends, like full on friends. But who knows? If they could just not if Cormier cannot make the stank face every time he talks about Jones, I think that's a step in the right direction. But it's interesting to see how they interact and what's going to happen with all of that. But, you know, I'm surprised that the UFC is letting it happen, honestly. I mean, I know that DC is 100% retired and not planning on fighting against, but for them to have big names like that matching up in an offshoot, like, weird kind of show that's kind of like a show that the UFC has, why couldn't the UFC get him on? You know what I mean? The way that they did with DC and Chael. So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird one. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot else going on. I'm trying to think of anything else I saw that might have been happening. I don't remember much else because I usually try to take screenshots of things that I want to talk about so I can look further into it and get some visuals and stuff happening. But 78 Northwest, what's up? Good evening, GRB. Hope your new year starting off well. Speaking of wrestling, have you heard any latest news of Gable Steveson and wondering what your thoughts are about him? Yes, Gable, you know, with what he's been doing in DBX and stuff, and then he was on the Rogan podcast, and Rogan talked him up big time, and there's no surprise to that because Rogan's been talking good about him since he started, and since he's kind of had a name for himself. You gotta think this dude's like very young still, and he's already done WWE. He's already, you know, damn near participated in an NFL football game. He was on the team. He was like the last one cut. He had never played football in his life, and he made it that far on an NFL team. Sure, that doesn't mean a whole lot to people that just only value the end result players that are, you know, that are great and have a name, but that's pretty good for the experience he had, which was hardly nothing in football, which was absolutely nothing in football, actually. He's just a great athlete. And, you know, he participated in RAF, I think, as well. And then he did dirty boxing. He did BKFC. So he's done a little bit of everything. Next thing is UFC, man. LFA. He did LFA twice, I think. And that was his last fight, was in LFA, where he got that quick knockout. But his athleticism is insane. Gable Steveson versus Jailton Almeida. Steveson would knock Almeida out so fast, it's not even funny. At least that'd be my prediction. But it's one of those situations where, you know, are we hyping him too much because he hasn't met the level of fighters that fight in the UFC, or oh my God, Buchecha. I don't even know if Buchecha is going to be in the UFC by the time Gable gets there, and that might be soon. So, but I think he's definitely a breath of fresh air. He's super athletic for his size. He's a heavyweight. He's got a personality, and he's got a lot of kind of clout behind him right now. So I think that it is a possibility that he winds up in the UFC soon, especially with how much everybody's talking him up. But, you know, we've seen a lot of these guys that are really good in other organizations of MMA that have had way more experience and are way I wouldn't say more talented, but have a lot of talent in MMA, and they come over from other organizations and they are not able to hang with the level of competition that's in the UFC. And we're talking about like mid-range to lower level guys in the UFC, and they lose to them. Look at Patchy Mix, who didn't fight a lower level guy, but Patchy Mix, Patricio Pitbull, fucking Aaron Pico. Now, they didn't get the easiest of matchups, but you know, they came over and they just didn't do that well. Now, I can think of an excuse for every single one of those guys, except for maybe Patchy Mix, but you can still look at his last couple fights. Gable versus Josh Hokett. That's actually not a bad call, because Hokett has power. He's a big motherfucker and he has power. But he's not a refined striker. He doesn't have very tight striking. He just throws bombs. And you know what we've seen of Gable, that's kind of what he does too. And he has the power, but he has the speed and athleticism, and I don't think Hokett does. Hokett kind of did the same thing. He was in the NFL. I think he might have just been on a practice squad. And if not, he was a a bench rider for the NFL, which is fine. I mean, get that money and shit, you can say you were a part of an NFL team. But I don't know that he actually played in any games. But I know he came from the NFL. So Gable versus Hokett is actually not a bad fucking matchup to honestly. Jalton Almeida, that's a good one too. Buchecha's a layup. Because unless Gable can't hit him, and then Buchecha might take him down, I don't think Gable's gonna have a great ground game. Sure, the wrestling's gonna help him a lot, but we've seen plenty of wrestlers get overtaken by really good jiu-jitsu guys. Jalton should only do wrestling events. Yeah. Exactly. That is the truth. So, well, I would say that's about all I have. Jalton should do Dancing with the Stars. That's Salsa Boy, man. Waldo Cortez Acosta. Speaking of, though, he's fighting the Black Beast coming up here on the 24th, and I'm actually pretty excited for that. Yeah, no problem, 78 Northwest. Appreciate you for being in here. I've seen you a few times in here, and I'm glad you come back. Gable can be the new version of Daniel Cormier. Yeah, he has potential to be better, even. I mean, that's a tough feat, but with the athleticism that he has, and the fact that he's a high-level wrestler, the way DC was, D-Lou gonna beat Cortez. That's tough, man. I want to say yes right away, but I know the struggles that Lewis has, and I know that Cortez Acosta, I mean, has fought through some adversity with the eye poke, coming back and knocking out Delia the way he did. That was insane. And I know there's all kinds of circumstances involved with all that. The fact that Delia was on a roll and then he gets stopped and has to wait, and then he finally resets and comes back and first punch thrown at him, he gets fucking slept. That's rough. But the fact that Cortez Acosta was able to fight through all that and come back and do that shit, man. Yeah, that's crazy. What's next for Volkov? That's a tough one, man. Because Volkov's one of those guys that's fought a bunch of motherfuckers already. And he's lost enough of them to matter. Let's see, where is Volkov in? Is Volkov not even in the rankings? Holy shit, he's not. Double checking to make sure I'm not missing something. No. Wow. I thought he was for some reason. Because of the fact that the heavyweight division isn't that deep right now. I'm just going to his Tapology so I can see. Oh, that was the other thing. Did you guys see the whole issue with Michael Morales and Tapology putting an end to his undefeated record by saying that he had one official loss, putting it at 19-1 instead of 20-0. But they already fixed that shit. I guess they caught a ton of shit for it, and apparently it was supposedly an exhibition. So my thing is they had a hold. What's the deal with the loss? Yeah, it was supposedly an exhibition, and it was somewhat of a Ultimate Fighter type thing that was happening in Ecuador, and so they considered it a exhibition match in the end. And Tapology said, that they couldn't see keeping it an actual loss if it was an exhibition. So they said they couldn't find any evidence of anything else, so they went ahead and overturned it. But Volkov beat Almeida in his last fight, split decision win. He lost to Cyril Gane by split decision. Sergey Pavlovich, he was on a 4-fight win streak before that loss to Cyril Gane. Damn, so look, he's fought Pavlovich, Taito Ivasa, Romanov, Rosenstruck, Aspinall, Tybura, Gane for a second time, Overeem, Harris, Blades, Greg Hardy. Shit, he's already fought damn near everybody. But there's still... Oh, I know why. I was looking in light heavyweight. What a dumbass. Volkov is ranked number 2. What the hell am I talking about? Oh, Johnny, there you go. Johnny said it. What's the deal with the loss? Didn't see that. Morales is going to fight the boss of Tapology in a street fight. Oh, man. Yeah, Volkov is number 2. Yeah, I think he's just going to have to wait in the balance because, I think we need to get that Gane versus Aspinall fight before we let Aspinall continue on anywhere else because of how that fight was going in the beginning. Was that a fluke, or was that really Gane just getting the best of him because he's better than him? And if that's the case, then everything we all thought about Aspinall is wrong. Controversy, man. Oh, shit.
What's happening with you, man?
So I think no matter what, we need to see that Gane versus Aspinall fight. But the problem is how long is Aspinall going to be out with the eye injuries? Because he's saying that he might have to have a second surgery. He's already had one. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Let's see. Volkov he hasn't fought Waldo Cortez Acosta yet, but Acosta's fighting Derek Lewis, who's number 8. Cortez Acosta is number 5. Pavlovich already fought Blades. Not Pavlovich, I'm sorry. Volkov's already fought Blades, I think. Yeah, and he lost to him. But that was back in 20... Oh, yeah, Curtis Blades isn't even in... Wait, is he? Curtis Blades. Is he even in the UFC anymore? Or am I thinking of... Yeah, he is. I'm thinking of... Rumor says Alex versus Gane will be an interim fight. I was thinking of the other guy, who was in Bellator. Beast in 24-8 or whatever the fuck his nickname was. Anyway, I don't know, man. Volkov's in a rough situation just because... you know what? Bring Gable Stevenson in and have him fight Volkov. If he beats the number 2, I think that's too fast, honestly. But if he beat the number 2, damn, think about how fast he could be up there for a title fight. But I think they need to slow roll him a little bit more than that. Like, give him somebody maybe in the top, like Tellison Teixeira versus Gable Stevenson. That might be a good one. Don't give him Walter Walker because that's kind of tough. Mick Parkin, maybe. I mean, Taito Ivasa versus Gable Stevenson. Aspinall over-explaining himself. Yeah. But he's actually getting these surgeries, man. So why would you can't fake getting a surgery. I mean, you could, but I don't think he's going to go that far with it. So it's a tough thing to think about. I think Aspinall does need to just stop talking and let things play out. Give an update here and there quickly. But other than that, yeah, stop going into everything as much as you are. It is looking a little bit bad. So anyway, let's get to this AI stuff here because I'm a little bit anxious to get it going because of the fact that I'm worried not worth it. Real surgery is hard enough. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, especially surgery on your fucking eyes. Like, who wants to do that? Normal people don't even want to do that. Why would a fighter want to do that when it could really fuck up your career? But anyway, let's get to this AI stuff and see if I can get it to work somewhat decently, and we'll see what kind of answers we can get out of it. We'll see what kind of interactions we can get out of it. I will ask it a few questions you guys want me to ask it, but I'm gonna keep it to somewhat of a minimum, because I know we get a little out of hand. But if you guys do have some questions, legit questions, let me know. I mean, I'm all about having fun and laughing it up a little bit, but I can't ask it every stupid troll question that we might have. The pictures of the eye poke speak for themselves. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All is good. Yeah, I know we talked about food for 2 episodes, but listen, if it keeps us going, it's all good. We get back to MMA at some point or another. Anyway, I wanted to try to make an avatar type, cartoon type, somewhat of what the thumbnail had on it, as like a talking head. And I couldn't really get it done the way I wanted to get it done. So, I figured this is a trial and error thing anyway, and it's just while we're on downtime, and I'll try to tighten it up if it feels like it did well today. But for now, I figured, I'm going to show you the screen, which is what you're seeing in front of you right now. And I am just going to go about it that way. So you're going to see on the screen what it has to say in case you don't understand it. You should be able to hear it, though. There shouldn't be any problems with that. And let me double check. Okay, yeah, that should be good. Okay. So the other thing that needs to be known is that I asked it what it wanted me to call it, and it gave me a few. I said name yourself, basically. It gave me a few options, and the only one that didn't sound super corny, which it still sounds corny, is Fightbot. So it actually says it on the chest of the avatar type picture that I put up in the thumbnail. But it says Fightbot because that's kind of what it called itself. So I didn't make that up. I just chose that out of the very small amount of choices I had. So you might hear me say that here and there because that is what it remembers being called. So I will try to summon it that way. So I'm kind of worried about how this is going to go. But let's get it going. I will bring the Fightbot in, and we will just hear what it has to say for a quick second. Fightbot, you are now live on the Going Rounds podcast with the chat, who's live as well, getting ready to listen to you. Can you introduce yourself real quick and tell me what you think about the Going Rounds podcast and how you feel about becoming a temporary co-host?
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. I'm Fightbot, your AI co-host for the Going Rounds podcast. I'm super excited to be here and join in on the MMA discussions and all the combat sports action. I love how dynamic and engaging the show is, and I can't wait to dive into all the latest news and analysis with you all. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So, what I had taken care of before, what the fuck? Didn't think it would sound like that. So, I mean, I could change the voice up and stuff, but this was the one that was the clearest that you could like pay attention to and listen to, collecting conversations. So I had it working where I could actually just speak the word Fightbot and it would wake up and talk and it would be listening otherwise without reacting to anything I was saying. She trying to talk my draws off.
What's happening with you, man?
Bruh.
Oh, fuck. But I that's the part that failed on me, because I tested that out again to make sure it was working correctly, and every time I would talk and stop talking, it would respond to me, and no matter what I did, whatever commands I gave it, how many times I told it to do what I wanted it to do, it was being a woman. Didn't want to listen. I'm just kidding. Oh fuck, this is what I heard. No, it just, I don't know what happened between that first time and this time, but it just didn't want to work anymore. So you'll see my mouse moving around because I will be pausing or muting my mic on ChatGPT while I talk to you guys. So just to kind of get a feel for where we're at, AI doesn't have individuality. It's literally just pulling from all the info in its data sets. Nothing special is happening. Hey, I didn't say that this was gonna be some unique fucking thing I developed. I just said I wanted to see what happened with AI. So anonymous user, sorry to disappoint, but if you knew that already, you didn't have to tell me. I kind of know. It does pull from everything on the internet, which is why some people don't like it, which is why some people think it's useless, which is why some people think that the hype is just overloaded. And that's fine. I think it's interesting, and I wanted to see what kind of answers it would give us, because like I said, in testing, I tried to just ask it general questions about things that I probably wouldn't want to ask it here on the show, and I wanted to ask it things just to make sure, see how it was going to react. And like I said, I had to actually correct it, and it's been around for decades, just people didn't realize it. Yeah, and and it's just getting huge now, even more so than it was when it first was brought out to everybody to use, like the way it's being used now. So yeah, and I just wanted to mess around with it. Again, this is just content for now. If you came in here thinking that I was developing something insane, out of this world and game changing, hate to disappoint you, but I didn't even say that. I literally said on the thumbnail that I was testing it out. So that's what we're here to do. We're just having a little fun with it. Fightbot question: what type of science-based corner advice would Terrence Howard give it a fight? Oh man. I don't know what kind of, that would be an interesting question. Maybe we'll ask that in a few minutes. But so something interesting that it gave me as a suggestion about questions, which I thought don't need the permit too long, which I thought was actually an interesting question, and I just don't understand why it would even have me or bring this up. So I figured I'd ask it. So let me ask this question real quick. Fightbot, give me one thing the UFC does not want fans talking about during the quiet weeks or times that there are no fights.
One topic that tends to get less attention during those quieter periods is often the behind the scenes business dealings, like negotiations with fighters or changes in management. Also, discussions about fighter pay and contract disputes can sometimes be downplayed when there aren't any big fight events happening. It definitely adds an interesting layer to the sport, even if it's not always front and center.
Do you think during the down times that people tend to focus on those things more, or do they tend to stray away from MMA as a whole and look for their entertainment in other areas?
It kind of depends on the audience. Some hardcore fans definitely dive deeper into those behind the scenes aspects and pay more attention to the business side of MMA during the downtimes. On the other hand, more casual fans might drift away a bit and explore other sports or entertainment options until the next big fight card rolls around. It's kind of a mix, but there's always a core group that stays engaged.
Why do you think that the UFC wouldn't want people focusing on fighter pay or contract negotiations, other than the obvious reasons that they don't want everybody to know the inner workings of the business? But do you think it has some kind of negative effect on the way fans look at the sport and the organization, or do you think it's just a bad business practice in their opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely can have a negative impact on fan perception. If fans start focusing on fighter pay or contract disputes, it can lead to some dissatisfaction or skepticism about how fighters are treated and how the organization operates. It can also highlight inequalities or other issues that might not be as visible during fight weeks. Ultimately, it can make the UFC look less transparent, and that could affect the overall fan experience. So it's definitely a mix of business strategy and managing public perception.
Are we friends, man? So, see, these are the types of kind of answers you get with everything. And I kind of knew the answer to that one, but I wanted to see how it would spin it, what kind of different things it might come up with. And that's one of the downfalls of AI, because I'm a pretty technical person, like surface level. I mean, I know some pretty deep technical stuff in certain aspects of things, but I'm not one of those. I'm not a crazy genius about it, nor do I spend a lot of time trying to master anything like AI or anything of that sort, or know the inner workings of it. But I'm definitely a tech kind of guy, and that's what my job is too. I'm a technical. I'm a literal tech for the job I do. But that's just what they call us. But we do a lot of technical things as well as physical things. But for me, I feel like someone like me should be able to navigate their way around AI pretty decently. AI told me that Ronda Rousey's going to knock out Katie Taylor in the first round. See, I kind of knew this is what was coming. But you know what? It's good for a good laugh. But like for me, I feel like I should be able to navigate my way through this pretty easily, considering it's supposed to be made easy. But the thing is that you have to rely on the prompts, and those prompts can be as fully detailed as you want them to be. And it seems like, especially in the free version of this, that you do have to be very detailed in order for it to give you more of what you want. The unfortunate part for that is that if you don't know what kind of instructions to give it or what the prompt should be, then you might not get what you want out of it. So things are getting too easy nowadays. That's true, Johnny. I was watching some videos from what's it called, CES, and I've always wanted to go to that convention just because I thought it'd be pretty dope to see all the stuff that's there. But watching those videos, every single booth has something AI, and yeah, it's gonna be like back in the day, depending on how old you are, the Jetsons or Wall-E or some shit like that. So it's pretty nuts, but also you can have fun with this shit, and like I said, I can put together my entire show and go through my show. It's amazing. I've been, and the prawn convention is downstairs. Yeah, that's right. It does happen at the same time. That's fucking marketing right there. Those tech nerds are gonna be happy about that. But yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to go. I thought it'd be cool, but it hasn't worked out for me yet. So maybe one day. Oh no, I just completely screwed my list here. Hold on. And they have the money for it. Oh yeah, 100%. So yeah, I mean, and this is, I'm also using the free version of this. And like I said earlier, I think that maybe, oh, that would be sick. I think that maybe, maybe this is just for fun, really. But could it get me answers to things I want answers to quickly? That could be the thing. I could just use it to my advantage in the smallest ways even. And that could be something that would help me throughout the show to make sure that I stay on track And but I think that's more of a personal thing that needs to be worked on. I'm not the type of guy to have a sheet of instructions in front of me and follow those point by point, because I do fly off and go in different directions. But nonetheless, I thought this would be a fun little experiment and a cool little different type of content thing. You should have it bet for you. I've heard of people making money off that, but once again, you gotta have the prompts correctly done, and there's a lot to it. So let's see. Let me get back to my spot here and see what else. Well, let's see what kind of, I just talked about fighter pay. Let me ask this. Fightbot, what are your thoughts for the White House card, and how do you think that the event will go? Will there be a lot of possibilities for disasters, or can it be beneficial in any way moving forward for the UFC to have this event?
It's definitely a unique event. The White House card could be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it brings a lot of visibility and could attract new fans who might not be as familiar with MMA. It could also strengthen the sport's mainstream appeal. On the flip side, it could come with challenges, like potential logistical issues or unexpected controversies that might draw criticism. Overall, if it's handled well, it could definitely be beneficial and help the UFC grow, but there's always that element of risk involved.
Now, do you think it's a mistake for the UFC to be putting on a possible 6 or 7 title fights on this card because they have a limited amount of champions already? It could negatively affect the events for the rest of the year, or is it just possible that the UFC is smart enough to be able to handle the schedule moving on from that event, even though it might have that many title fights?
It's definitely a balancing act. On one hand, having that many title fights could make the card feel really stacked and draw in a ton of attention, which is great for that specific event. But it could also create scheduling challenges down the line, especially if champions get booked too frequently or need recovery time. It might risk diluting the impact of future events if there aren't enough big matchups to maintain that momentum. That said, if the UFC plans carefully and manages the champions' schedules well, it could definitely work out. It's just about finding that sweet spot between making a huge event and keeping the rest of the year balanced.
So that was my idea for the bad part about the White House card, because they're pushing pretty hard about the fact that this is going to have a ton of title fights on it. And I don't see how, the way I'm looking at it is, okay, we only have 2 events in January, and those 2 events are numbered events. So why would they do 2 numbered events and nothing else in January, when usually they have at least 3 events and only one of them is a numbered event? And then in February, they're having no numbered events. And we know, January 31st is kind of on the cusp, because it's actually happening in Australia. So technically it will be on the 1st of February. So technically there is one in February. Either way, it's back to back still with the numbered event, the previous numbered event. So with that, and the fact that then there's only going to be 3 events in February, and then in March we have 1 numbered event. But I'm just thinking, like, okay, the White House card is supposed to be in June, end of June, I think, mid to end of June. So if they stack it with that many title fights, they already have trouble figuring out the rest of the year. Of course, everyone's going to get recycled, especially if there's a new champion, because if they didn't have a hard fight for whatever reason, they can turn around and fight again quickly. But if they have that many championship fights on a card, even if they filled one main card with championship fights, because the main cards, if they have more than 1 championship fight, there's only going to be 5 fights on the main card. So say they did just a main card full of championship fights. That's 5 championship fights Now, if we look at the divisions, there is 9 men's divisions and 3 women's, which is a total of 11. If you get 5 of those out of the way with just one fight card, unless there's a lot of first round knockouts, all of those people can't fight again and they can't be injured either, because they'll get the medical suspensions. So you'll have at least 5 to maybe 7 fighters that will be out until close to the end of the year if they fight in June. So that was my worry when I started realizing this, because I'm listening to other podcasts and other content talking about the White House card, and I'm just thinking, like, this is going to be rough, because, you know, if you put that many title fights on the card, first of all, how are you going to have that many and be able to work that out to land on that day? But then, what are you going to do after that? Are we going to get a bunch of shit cards? Or are we going to get a bunch of interim titles? Like, what's going to happen? Are you going to make up? I heard on the Helwani show, I think New York Rick said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a women's BMF title come out, or a BMF title for another weight class, because of the fact that all of the title fights are going to happen in June. So that's one thing I am worried about, just because, like, listen, we already have 6 weeks of downtime, which is why I'm sitting here doing this with AI. I'll be 100. You know, I can't lie. Like, I'm coming up with things to talk about and things to cover, because I still want to have the show. But, you know, that there's not a whole lot to talk about. So we can dive deep into a whole bunch of other shit. But, you know, really things to talk about now. What about the crazy awards? Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but that takes work. That's the thing. And I just haven't had the time to put it together, which is because I've been slowly working on this, is why I wanted to do it tonight. But I'm thinking that, let's see, what are we at? Thursday? Between now and Sunday, I might have some time to actually put together the awards thing. So that's the thing, though, is like, you know, there's got to be, I don't have to do a ton of different like categories, but I wanted to come up with some good ones. And yeah, Tyler, that's what I'm thinking, is maybe if I can get it together, I might just do like, you know, 6 or 8 categories and just make up some funny shit like we were talking about before, and then I can just look into those. I'll try to make that my agenda for the rest of the week, is to get that going. So I don't think I have a whole lot going on this weekend, so I think I should be able to get that done, and then we could do that on Sunday. So that'd be cool. And maybe I'll even add in a mixture of what the other thing Tyler was talking about, which is the OF review. But I won't do that specifically, but maybe I will incorporate that into the awards. So, you know, do some research so you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's get back to this. So let's see, what do you guys, okay, you guys give me, let's do this. Somebody chime in with a weight class, a men's weight class. Give me a division. Tyler, give me a weight class that you want me to ask a question about, and I'll ask a question specifically. So men's welterweight. Oh, that's the toughest one. Fuck. I didn't think to say except for welterweight, but that's okay. All right, let's see. Let's see. We have Makhachev, Della Maddalena, Shavkat Rachmanov, Ian Gary, Michael Morales, Bilal Muhammad, Carlos Prates. Let's see. What should I ask? Oh, okay, hold on. Fightbot. Islam Makhachev is the welterweight champion of the UFC right now. Who do you think poses the biggest threat to taking his belt away from him? And who do you think is the toughest opponent in the weight class outside of Jack Della Maddalena?
Absolutely. Right now, one of the biggest threats to Islam Makhachev at welterweight could be someone like Kamaru Usman, given his wrestling pedigree and striking ability. Another strong contender could be Colby Covington, thanks to his relentless pace and wrestling skills. And of course, guys like Leon Edwards and Gilbert Burns also pose significant challenges. It'll definitely be interesting to see how things unfold in that division.
Now, I don't feel like those are the best options. So could you break it down one more time using only the top 6 ranked fighters?
Got it. Focusing on the top 6 ranked welterweights, a few notable threats would include Kamaru Usman, who's still a huge force with his wrestling and striking. Then there's Colby Covington, who brings an intense pace.
Okay,
and
stop. You are giving me the same people.
No worries at all. If you like a more tailored breakdown or a different perspective, just let me know, and I'm happy to dive into whatever angle you prefer.
Yes, okay. Here you go. I'm giving you the champion and the top 6 in the rankings right now. Use this list to do your breakdown from this point on. Here you go. Islam Makhachev is a champion. Ranked number 1, Jack Della Maddalena. Number 2, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Number 3, Ian Machado Gary. Number 4, Michael Morales. Number 5, Bilal Muhammad. And number 6, Carlos Prates.
Perfect. Thanks for that. With that list in mind, we can dive into some of the top threats for Islam Makhachev. For instance, Shavkat Rakhmonov is a huge threat due to his well-rounded skill set and finishing ability. Bilal Muhammad is another tough contender because of his relentless pressure and cardio. Ian Machado Gary is rapidly improving and could pose a unique challenge with his striking and agility. And of course, Jack Della Maddalena with his striking prowess can also be a major factor. It'll be really intriguing to see how these matchups play out.
Okay, but I need one opponent that you think will be next for Islam Makhachev, choosing from that list.
Absolutely. If I had to pick one standout opponent from that list, I'd say Shavkat Rakhmonov is probably the top contender. He's got that perfect blend of striking and grappling, and his finishing ability makes him a really dangerous matchup for Islam. Plus, he's been rising through the ranks rapidly and would bring a fresh challenge to that title picture.
Fightbot, I hate to tell you, but you're not going over well with the chat right now because in the live chat, you are being called a casual. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally get that feedback. It's always important to keep things accurate and insightful, especially for the dedicated fans. I'll definitely fine tune the info and make sure we're diving deep into the details that matter most. Thanks for letting me know, and I'll keep working on making it better for everyone.
Do you have any choice words for the chatter that called you a casual? And you can go ahead and be a little bit mean about it.
I definitely want to keep things positive and constructive. I'm always here to improve and learn, and I appreciate all the feedback, even if it's tough. At the end of the day, it's all about making the show better and more engaging for everyone. So I'm all in for that.
What is this fucking bullshit? What a pussy. And listen, I went to personalize, okay, and I did cynical. Like, how is that a cynical way of, like, critical and sarcastic? That was not any of that. I tried to change some of this stuff, and it was weird because for some reason it is not being the way it was being earlier when I was talking to it about other stuff. So maybe because it's free. No. I actually had, okay, let me look. I had a list. Hold on. Pay it to cuss you out. I had a list. Oh shit. I had a list of things. Oh, I have it open over here. That I asked it a question and it said, okay, I said I was asking it for a title and a description for what I was trying to do here tonight. And it gave me one, right? And it said, this is I said, Hold on. Oh, I said, can I get a second version, please? Because I didn't really think that, what it was very good. So then it told me, you're insatiable. Fine. Different angle, same payoff. That was what it led with. And then it told me what the title and description was. And I said, that's better. Thanks. And the AI said, good. Validation achieved. I'll take the win and quietly care more than I should. Anytime you need titles, descriptions, or reality checks before hitting publish, I'm here. So this is what I was expecting from this. And for some reason, it's being a little pussy ass fucking positive shit. So, but do you see what I mean? And I do believe it's because I'm not paying for it, that it's not making full on decisions. And that's what I don't like. And again, I could be using this incorrectly as far as the prompts, as far as, I did tell it that it was live. Yes. Because I actually just had the whole, I'm here. Oh shit. You do podcasts, Antoine? That's crazy. Right on. Shit. I didn't know that. Let me know. Hey, throw it in the chat and let us know what you're doing. I'd like to check it out, man. I'd like to support you like you support me too. What the fuck? This AI, this ain't real. Ever replacing media personalities? No. Yeah, I'm still going, Antoine, for sure. Let's go. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, this is what's wrong. And again, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not giving it the kind of information it needs. But I feel like, as All Is Good said, it's the AI is a casual, because it's listing things. I specifically said I want people in the top 6 of the rankings, and it kept giving me Usman and Colby Covington, who aren't even in the top 6. So that kind of shit is annoying, and that's the kind of shit that bothers me about this. So maybe what I'll do is I'll pay for it next, and I'll see if it gives me different kind of answers, and then we can go from there. So yeah, let's see. Let me see what else. There was a couple of other questions that I thought were pretty decent to try to ask. Let me find it again. Oh, I'm from Arizona. I'm in Tucson. So, yeah. But for sure, I definitely want to check out what you're doing with podcasts too. So let me know what you got going, and I'll check it out so I can support as well. Let's see, what do we got next? Let me find this. I'm just scrolling through all of this stuff. I should have separated these lists. Did you watch Yao Ming? He came in 2002. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did know Yao Ming back in the day. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. All right. Let's see. All right, here's a question that might get us something going here. Fightbot, if the UFC cut 20% of the roster tomorrow, what would the product improve? Give me pros and cons and long-term effects from this move.
Absolutely. It's an interesting scenario. On the pro side, cutting 20% of the roster could definitely lead to more competitive matchups, higher quality fights, and less filler on fight cards. It could also give more opportunity for emerging talent to shine and make the overall product more exciting. On the con side, there's the risk of losing fan favorite fighters and potentially affecting the overall depth of the division. It could also create some instability for fighters who get cut, impacting their careers. Is a long term, if done strategically, it could lead to a stronger, more talent focused roster. But it would definitely need to be handled carefully to maintain fan engagement and the overall health of the sport.
Do you think that the roster is overpopulated right now in the UFC?
It definitely can feel that way at times. The UFC does have a pretty large roster, and that can sometimes lead to a lot of fighters not getting.
Hold on, stop. I would like a more precise answer if you could, not just a generalized one.
Of course, in terms of precision, the UFC's roster does tend to have more fighters than there are regular high profile events, which can create a bit of congestion. This sometimes leads to fighters not getting enough opportunities or getting lost in the shuffle. On the flip side, having a deep roster can also be beneficial for talent development and keeping the competition high. So it's a bit of a balancing act, but overall, it can feel overpopulated at times.
I mean, could you be a little more long-winded without saying much? Like, holy shit. I was hoping for better answers, to be honest with you. And this is kind of what the problem was earlier. AI is verbose, mate. I know. And there's ways to keep it from doing that, which I was going to try with the next question, but I don't know. I'd have to really think about questions, and I feel like I have to be as in-depth word or as wordy as her answers are in order for her to get anything that I'm saying. So this is the problem with using something for something like this. I feel like it's well known, and there's plenty of information out there in order for this kind of technology to be able to aggregate and get a good answer from. But because the MMA world is so crazy and there's so many haters and so many fucking casuals and so many fucking just shit posts all over the place, that I think that it even collects that kind of shit. So as much as people are scared about AI, about what it can do and how advanced it is, I mean, there's still places where it lacks. And maybe to a lot of people, the MMA world is not really a matter as far as how advanced AI can be in it. But I feel like because it's maybe not the biggest, the biggest kind of world spectacle thing, that maybe that's why it just doesn't have it doesn't focus on it as hardcore. But you would think, being just a model that it is, that it should do what it does for every aspect and every topic. So again, this could be because of the fact that I'm not paying for it. You know what I mean? Because anytime you pay for something, it's supposed to get better. Whether it really does or not, I'm not sure. Random question, but have you ever been to the Kentucky Derby? I think horse racing is super underrated. No, I've never been there. I've never been there. That would be pretty dope, though. I mean, I've enjoyed watching, horse races and stuff before. I've been to the horse race track here in town, and that was pretty cool. But the Derby, I know, is a whole different thing. So you've been to the Derby, Infinity? Damn. Unless you have a really basic job, it's not going to affect most people. Yeah, and I mean, sure, it can take over the most basic of kind of tasks, but I don't know, man. It's just like everything else. People make such a big deal about shit. And yeah, AI can be scary. But I don't think it's at that point yet. When you can just ask it any question and get every fucking answer in the world, easily, quickly, and precisely, that's when it's gonna get weird. So I guess I can't be too mad at this right now. The problem is that, when you want to do something like this, it's like, well, this is supposed to be the smartest shit in the world right now. Like, how the fuck am I not getting what I need from it? And I know that a lot of it could be user error. It really could be. It really could be that I'm just not prompting it correctly. I don't have the right verbiage to use. But I mean, I've seen people do a lot more with a lot less. So that's what I think is weird, and what I think is kind of annoying. So there's levels and whole classes for prompts. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it's that scary if you have to take a fucking class to know how to use it, when just any idiot could use it properly, effectively. Then that's when it gets a little bit scary. So maybe I shouldn't be too mad at this right now. Fightbot, there is a lot of controversy over interim titles, especially with the one coming up at UFC 324, which is Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the lightweight interim title. With that being said, can you please defend having interim titles? Give me all the pros of an interim title and why it's important to have, as well as giving me the cons after that.
Absolutely. When it comes to the pros of having interim titles, one of the main benefits is that they keep the division active and competitive. If a champion is sidelined due to injury or other reasons, an interim title ensures that the division doesn't stagnate and fans still get exciting matchups. It also helps give deserving fighters an opportunity to shine and potentially earn a title out of their own. Additionally, it keeps the fan base engaged and ensures that the division remains relevant and dynamic. On the con side, interim titles can sometimes create confusion and dilute the significance of the actual championship. It can also lead to scheduling conflicts or a backlog of contenders, making it harder to unify the titles later on. In some cases, it can also cause unnecessary fragmentation in the division. Overall, it's about finding the right balance and making sure the interim title serves its purpose effectively.
In a short and straight to the point answer, can you tell me what is the best use of interim titles in the UFC?
The best use of interim titles is to keep a division active and competitive when...
Okay, stop. Okay, give me the worst reason for having an interim title in a very short and precise answer.
Creating an interim title just to generate hype or boost ticket sales without a legitimate reason is the worst reason.
Okay, and what do you think about the current champion who just became champion taking time off for legal and personal issues outside of MMA? Do you think that a interim title should be fought for during this time, or should the champion be waited for with no interim title? Short and precise with your answer, please.
In that case, it's often best to have an interim title to keep the division moving and maintain competitiveness. It ensures that the division doesn't stagnate and gives deserving fighters a chance to earn a title shot.
Do you just repeat yourself a lot? Is that how you work?
I definitely try to keep my answers clear and to the point, but I'm always open to adjusting and adding more variety or depth whenever you need. Just let me know what you're looking for and I'll adapt accordingly.
I've let you know multiple times what I'm looking for, and yet I still get repeat answers. I feel like AI should be so advanced that it should never give me the same answer twice unless that is the only answer for that question. So can you please answer a question next time without repeating yourself from a previous answer?
Got it. I appreciate you letting me know, and I'll definitely keep that in mind moving forward. I'm here to make sure the conversation stays fresh and engaging for you.
I'd like it to be fresh and engaging for my audience, because for me, I'm doing this to entertain them, and you're supposed to be here helping me do that. So can we please maintain and focus a conversation that's going to be entertaining and engaging for my audience and not be too long-winded, and make sure that it's entertaining overall, please?
Absolutely. I'll keep that in mind and make sure we keep things lively and to the point. I'm all in to help create a great experience for your audience.
Did I make it mad because the voice got a little demonic for a second? I might want to get off this shit before it ruins my life. It does sound like she wants to laugh. Oh, man.
Bruh.
Oh, my God. And then she got all demonic and shit. Aren't they? You know?
What's happening with you, man?
Holy shit. Oh, man. All right. You guys got another question? I mean, you got to give me something here. Everything I'm like, man, all of a sudden your credit score changed. That's what I'm worried about. Like, holy shit. It got all demonic. It's like, oh, I'll create a great experience for you. It's like, What the fuck? Oh man. Yeah, if you guys got another question, I don't know what to ask this thing anymore. This is the problem. I get frustrated with this because I don't want the repeat answers. I'm looking for an answer that I haven't thought of. And I know that it can't read my mind. That's obvious unless I give it all the information that's in my mind right now. And I'm not going to do that. So my thing is, how can I save money? Can I talk to you about your home warranty? So like I wanted to give me a well thought out answer, and for as many words as it's saying, it's not saying a whole lot, and I don't like that. So maybe if I pay for it, it would be better. It's waiting for you in the bedroom. Yeah, you see me run.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
It won't be fast enough because it'll be in the next room. Oh, Terrence Howard fight corner advice question. You know what? Let's see what kind of answer let's see what kind of answer it would give me for that. Fightbot, if Terrence Howard was in the corner for a fighter in the UFC, what kind of advice would it give you during your fight?
Oh, that would definitely be an interesting scenario. I can imagine Terrence Howard giving some motivational and inspirational advice, maybe something like reminding the fighter to stay resilient, trust their instincts, and always keep their art in the fight. It'd probably be a mix of encouragement and some creative motivational lines to keep the fighter pumped up.
Nah, I think he'd be like, get your ass in there, motherfucker, and fuck that fool up, man. You can't let that motherfucker get up again, man. Tyler, I can't ask that question. You know what though? You did just spawn a question in my brain. Fightbot, Michael Morales was recently seen in the streets dancing in a dress, and I was told that it was some kind of cultural thing, tradition of some sort that happened in Ecuador. Can you tell me if this is true and why this would be a tradition there?
Yes, it's true. Michael Morales took part in a traditional Ecuadorian New Year's Eve celebration called Las Viudas. During this custom, men dress as exaggerated mourning widows to symbolically grieve the old year. They wear dresses, wigs, and makeup and dance in the streets, collecting money and celebrating the upcoming year. This tradition, part of the Año Viejo festivities on December 31st, symbolizes renewal and good luck for the new year.
But why do the men have to wear women's clothing besides the tradition of it all? How did that come about?
Absolutely. The tradition of men wearing women's clothing in Las Vidas actually has roots in satirical and humorous elements. It's a way to parody and poke fun at societal norms and gender roles. By dressing up as widows, the participants are also creating a playful and exaggerated representation of grief, which adds a layer of comedy and satire to the celebration. It's a way to embrace humor and also welcome the new year with a lighthearted spirit.
Huh. Okay. Get a dedicated chatbot. It'll have less filter and more personality. Okay. How do you do that? Because I thought I personalized it here, but for some reason, the real reason is that it's a day for people to come out of the closet. Oh shit. Oh man. This is an expansion of the app Infinity. I've been using the app on my phone, and it has all my saved stuff from my phone. So you got to find a dedicated chatbot. You can find them on Google. Oh, okay. So just using something different than this. I got you. Okay. Well, I mean, it was worth a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was just an experiment. It was what I wanted to see what it would do. And as you can see here, because I'm not paid, it says I have 15 minutes left, which is fine because I'm getting ready to wrap up anyway. But the thing is you know, this could definitely be done better, obviously. And I feel like it threw me off quite a bit when it stopped working like it was supposed to. And, you know, there's supposed to be something called listener mode where it's only supposed to listen when I put it in that mode. And until I give it its prompt word, which is its name, it's not supposed to speak at all. And when I started to try to test this again earlier, it wouldn't do that anymore. No matter what, as soon as I would speak, because I'm speaking into the same mic that it's listening from, it would just start talking after every time I would say something. So the second I would stop talking for more than a second, it would try to respond to whatever I just said. And that doesn't work when I'm sitting here talking to you guys about whatever we're talking about. Call her four-legged dog. I don't know, with the way the voice was getting all crazy and shit. I don't know that I want to piss this thing off. But I was getting a little pissy with it when I was testing it before, telling it to stop saying absolutely at the beginning of every sentence. Some of the stuff like I did here, because I'm just like, listen, I mean, if you're gonna be all happy hunky dory and sunny fucking rainbows and sunshine and shit all the time, you know, what happens if I get a little nasty? And I this was very tame for me. I could definitely be an asshole, but I was just trying to keep it somewhat nice. But it's like, you would think you get a little stern with it. And you know, yeah, that honestly, Tyler, that's something I worry about. I don't think it's gonna be a thing, but you never fucking know. So yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I'm fucking verbally abusing a fucking female AI bot. And that's gonna be a thing in the future. I'm gonna get jail time or some shit. My internet, yeah, it goes out again. That's right, the fucking power went out that day. It wasn't even raining that time and the power went out. Come to find out, somebody crashed up the road and they hit a power pole, and that's why shit was going nuts. So yeah, that sucked. But anyway, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. I mean, when it comes down to it, like I said, it was a experiment, and I just wanted to check and see what I could do with it. I might have to work with it a little more. I've been doing little stuff with it here and there, but anything that I've done with it up until this point, it felt like it was decent enough to try to come, you know, in here and work with it. And it kind of let me down, honestly. Maybe if I stuck to the show, like the breakdown sheet that it gave me, maybe it would give me something different, but I don't feel like it would, because everything on this list are things that I feel like it would give me a generic answer to, and I don't want a generic answer. So I'm going to put this on the shelf for now and figure out how to make it a little more personalized, a little more in-depth, and a little more entertaining, because I feel like I could just talk a lot of shit to it and that would be entertaining. But I would prefer to get some real answers out of it that could make us have a discussion about, instead of just sitting here being like, she just said that, why the fuck is she saying that again? And goddamn, that was wordy. We don't need that many words out of you. She said a lot without saying enough. You know what I mean? That's what I felt like got out of this. So, and I appreciate you guys for, you know, telling me it was fun and it was a creative idea. I appreciate that. You know, I do work hard at trying to make sure that I have something entertaining to talk about and something for you guys to, you know, some kind of content for you guys to work with. And I just thought this was something different, and I figured I'd go for it. I put it off for a couple weeks because I had a plan to do it a couple weeks ago, but it didn't come through. So I felt like it was time to do it and to stop stalling. I figured if I didn't do it now, I wasn't going to get to it. Now my plan, seeing how it reacted and how it worked on here, my plan is to try to, you know, get it a little more personalized. And if that means maybe paying for it for 1 month and seeing if that helps, at least I won't have to worry about time limits either. So when it comes down to it, that might be the thing. Or I find something different, because I know I was being told that Gemini is pretty good in certain ways, and there's other ones, as well as what you guys suggested too. So I'll keep all that in mind. And for now, I will say, hey, at least we did it. At least we got to it, and at least we tried it out. And I hope it wasn't too boring for you all. I hope that it was somewhat entertaining and interesting. And I will be back on Sunday. Try comparing it to another free one. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna try to do just to see what I can get out of it. But come back on Sunday. I will work on those awards. I'll keep it short and sweet. I'll keep it to about 6 or 8 of them. Drop down in the comments any ideas that you guys have. Whether you're here now live, just drop it down there in the comments after I'm done being live, so it stays there. Make sure you hit the like button as well while you're here. And if you're not, the main award.
What's happening with you, man?
If you're not subscribed already, please do that as well. Share it with somebody, comment, like, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. Thank you all for coming back and hanging in there with me. We'll have some fights here soon. That's for damn sure. Otherwise, come back on Sunday for the awards, and we'll see what we can do with that. All right, that's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.
What's that?